In the Middle Ages, people had some truly strange eating habits. For example, in the royal banquet halls of England, chefs would serve a whole roasted peacock with its skin and feathers sewn back on so it looked alive while you ate it. In the frozen north, Viking warriors feasted on Hákarl, a shark that was buried underground until it fermented into a toxic, ammonia-smelling mush. Down in the East Roman Empire, the elite obsessed over garum, a pungent sauce made from the fermented guts and blood of rotting fish. From the Mongol steppes where they drank fermented horse milk to the Aztec temples where royal feasts included roasted iguanas and even fattened dogs, the medieval menu was a literal nightmare. Your dinner wasn't just food. It was a display of power, survival, and sometimes pure disgust. Let's dive into these bizarre delicacies and rank the grossest meals in history in our global comparison. Our journey into the disgusting starts in the royal banquet halls of medieval England, where the ultimate display of wealth was the Cockentrice. This wasn't just a meal. It was a bizarre surgery where chefs would sew the upper body of a suckling pig onto the lower body of a large chicken, or vice versa. The goal was to create a mythical, two-headed beast that looked like a monster from a nightmare. Once it was roasted and served on a silver platter. While it showcased the chef's needlework, the sight of two different animals fused together was as unsettling to the eyes as it was greasy on the tongue. If the hybrid pig wasn't enough, the English nobility were obsessed with lampreys, a terrifying, jawless fish that looked like a giant, blood-sucking eel. These primitive creatures were stewed in their own blood and wine, creating a dark, iron-rich mess that was considered the highest luxury. King Henry I famously died from a surfeit of lampreys, basically eating so much of this slimy, blood-filled delicacy that it literally killed him. In England, the more a meal looked like a horror movie prop, the more the elite wanted to eat it. Moving north to the frozen fjords of the Viking realms, the struggle for survival led to the creation of Hákarl, or fermented Greenland shark. Because the meat of a fresh Greenland shark is actually toxic and smells like ammonia, the Vikings would bury the shark in a hole in the ground for several months, letting it rot and ferment until the toxins were gone. What was left was a chewy, gelatinous cube that smelled so strongly of cleaning fluid and urine that even the toughest warriors had to pinch their noses just to swallow it. When they weren't eating rotten shark, the Vikings feasted on svi, which is a whole sheep's head that has been singed to remove the wool and then boiled. Every part of the face was consumed, including the eyeballs and the tongue, which were considered the most flavorful bits. The head was served whole on a wooden plate, staring back at the diner with its boiled eyes, serving as a grim reminder that in the harsh north, nothing, not even the face of your livestock, could ever go to waste. Heading south to the golden tables of the East Roman Empire, the most essential ingredient in any high-class meal was garum. This was a pungent, fermented fish sauce made by layering fish guts, blood, and salt in massive stone vats and leaving them to rot in the sun for months. The resulting liquid was a concentrated, salty explosion of decay that was poured over everything from meat to fruit. To a modern nose, it would smell like a trash bin in midsummer, but to the Romans, a meal without the taste of liquid rotting fish was a meal not worth eating. For those who wanted something even more refined, the Imperial chefs served brain sausages, a delicacy made from the brains of pigs or calves mixed with eggs and heavy spices. These were stuffed into casings and fried until they were soft and creamy on the inside, creating a rich, fatty texture that was the height of Roman sophistication. While the elite reclined on their silk couches eating fried brains drenched in fermented gut sauce, they believed they were at the pinnacle of civilization, proving that luxury is often just a matter of perspective and a very strong stomach. Our global food tour takes us across the Atlantic to the bustling markets of the Aztec Empire, where the elite feasted on a specially bred, hairless dog known as the Zoloit Squintly. These dogs weren't pets. They were raised and intentionally fattened on a diet of corn until they were plump enough for a royal banquet. The meat was described as rich and fatty, often served in spicy stews during religious festivals. For the Aztecs, eating a fattened dog was a symbol of high status and a rare treat reserved for the most important citizens of Tenochtitlan. If dog stew wasn't on your menu, you might be offered a wattle, famously known as Mexican caviar. This delicacy consisted of the tiny, dried eggs of waterflies gathered in massive quantities from the surface of Lake Texcoco. The eggs were dried, ground into a flour, and then cooked into small cakes or tortillas that had a potent, fishy flavor similar to dried shrimp. While it provided essential protein, the thought of eating millions of fly eggs for breakfast was a reality that even the most powerful Aztec emperors embraced every single day. Leaving the tropics behind, we gallop onto the vast, wind-swept steppes of the Mongol Empire, where nomadic life created the Budog. This wasn't your typical barbecue. The Mongols would take a whole goat or marmot, remove the bones through the neck without tearing the skin, and then drop red-hot stones directly into the animal's stomach cavity. The meat cooked from the inside out within its own skin, creating a greasy, intense stew of blood and fat. It was a practical way to cook without a pot, but the sight of a steaming, fur-covered carcass cooking itself was enough to haunt any traveler's dreams. To wash down the heavy meat, the Mongols relied on arag, a sour, mildly alcoholic drink made from fermented mare's milk. Since horse milk has a very high sugar content, it had to be poured into large leather bags and beaten or stirred thousands of times a day to prevent it from curdling. The result was a pungent, fizzy liquid that smelled of old sweat and fermented yeast. For a Mongol warrior, this was the ultimate energy drink, providing the calories needed for conquest, even if the taste was a sharp, acidic shock to anyone not born in a saddle. Returning to the sophisticated yet strange courts of medieval France, the ultimate high-status delicacy was the cockscomb. These were the fleshy, bright red crests cut directly from the heads of live roosters and then simmered in rich, buttery sauces with mushrooms and herbs. Because they were small and required many birds to make a single dish, cockscombs became a symbol of extreme extravagance. The texture was soft and slightly rubbery, a bizarre finger food enjoyed by kings and queens who wanted to show off their wealth by eating the most useless yet expensive part of a chicken. While the nobility nibbled on rooster heads, the coastal regions obsessed over porpoise, often called the sea pig. During the many fast days of the Catholic Church when meat was forbidden, porpoise was legally classified as a fish, allowing the elite to bypass the rules. The meat was notoriously oily, dark, and had a strong, fishy stench that could fill an entire banquet hall. It was often boiled with vinegar to mask the smell, but the greasy, blubbery texture remained a challenging delicacy that only the most devout and wealthy French citizens were willing to endure. Our global food tour takes us to the sophisticated courts of Imperial China, where the most expensive delicacy was bird's nest soup. This wasn't made from twigs or leaves. It was harvested from the nests of swifts that used their own gummy, hardened saliva to build their homes on high cliff walls. When dissolved in water, the spit turned into a gelatinous, rubbery texture that was believed to grant eternal youth and strength. For the Chinese elite, slurping down a bowl of warm, bird saliva soup was the ultimate sign of wealth, even if the thought of eating a bird's dried throat secretions would make a modern diner gag. If the spit soup didn't fill you up, you might be served a century egg, an ancient delicacy that looked like it belonged in a museum of rot. These were duck or chicken eggs preserved in a mixture of clay, ash, salt, and quicklime for several months until the yolk turned a dark, creamy green and the white became a translucent, tea-colored jelly. The smell was a potent mix of sulfur and ammonia, making the egg look and smell completely spoiled. Yet, in the eyes of a medieval Chinese nobleman, the more rotten the egg appeared, the more refined the flavor was considered to be. Traveling to the arid landscapes of the Middle East, survival in the desert led to the consumption of fried locusts. During massive swarms, these insects were gathered by the thousands, boiled in salt water, and then sun-dried or fried in butter until they were crunchy. While they were a vital source of protein, eating a bowl of armored, winged insects that still had their legs and eyes attached was a challenging reality for any traveler. They were often eaten like snacks, providing a salty, nutty crunch that was the only thing standing between a desert nomad and starvation. For the grandest royal celebrations, the Arab elite practiced a legendary cooking technique known as the stuffed camel. This was a literal meat matryoshka where a whole camel was stuffed with several sheep, which were in turn stuffed with dozens of chickens, which were then filled with fish and boiled eggs. The entire massive structure was roasted over a giant fire for an entire day, dripping in fat and charcoal. While it was a spectacular display of hospitality, the sight of a mountain of different animals fused together into a greasy, steaming pile of flesh was a sensory overload that only the most hardened medieval warriors could handle. Crossing the mountains into the heart of the Inca Empire, the primary source of meat for the high-altitude citizens was the cuy, or roasted guinea pig. Unlike in the modern world where they are pets, the Incas raised these small rodents in their homes specifically for the dinner table. They were served whole, often with their tiny paws and heads still attached, charred over an open flame until the skin was crispy. For the Incas, this was a holy meal reserved for the highest religious festivals, proving that your favorite childhood pet was another man's sacred feast. To wash down the roasted rodent, the Incas drank chicha, a corn beer with a secret, disgusting ingredient: human saliva. Because they didn't have commercial yeast, the Inca women would sit in circles, chew handfuls of dried corn until it turned into a paste, and then spit the mixture into large vats. The enzymes in the saliva triggered the fermentation process, turning the corn mush into an alcoholic drink. Every cup of chicha was essentially a mixture of corn and someone else's spit, a reality that the entire empire embraced as a gift from the gods during their sun-drenched ceremonies. From the saliva-fermented drinks of the Andes to the rotten shark of the frozen north, history's menu was a brutal test of the human stomach. We've shown you 20 of the world's most extreme and revolting delicacies, proving that what one culture calls a sacred feast, another calls a living nightmare. But now we want to hear from you. In this global comparison, which of these ancient meals was the most revolting to you? Would you have survived a royal banquet in the Middle Ages? Or would you have left the table hungry?